Hey everybody, my name's Matt. I go by Hide in Plain Sight on Hips. And this is my first ever Let's Play. I've been really excited to do this for a while, but I've been kind of putting it off because it's something I'd never really done before, so I didn't know really how to do it, and it's something that's kind of nerve-wracking, actually, I'll admit. Putting something out there like this where you have to commentate and expect people to enjoy your commentary completely off the cuff. I'm not doing this post-commentary. I'm just doing this perfectly live, so it's kind of nerve-wracking to be talking and have your words that are just out there, just to the world, without any sort of thinking or editing. So, I'm going to go into my Let's Play now. As you can see, I'm going to be doing Mega Man X. I chose this game because it's a game I know really well, so I have lots to talk about, and I'll be able to show you lots of some cool secrets. And it's also a game I really like, because I wouldn't have energy, I wouldn't have fun doing a game I didn't like. So, I just want to hop into it, and I'm going to start the game. Now, one thing that's unique about Mega Man X is that, unlike the previous Mega Man series games, you don't start at the map screen. You're going to instead start in the tutorial level. Now, the tutorial level, it's not like newer games where the tutorial tells you, oh, hit A to jump or B to attack. It doesn't show you anything. You gotta learn on your own. But it's pretty basic. So we're just gonna run right here. You can jump and you can shoot. You can also hold down shoot as a charge beam. And the charge beam is your best friend. You're gonna want to have a charge beam charged up at pretty much all times. You'll see I do that throughout the game. I just constantly have charge beams charged up. And that's because enemies are going to come at you from the right, and as soon as you see them, it's just quite easy to just release your charge attack and finish them off before they're even ever a threat, rather than letting them come to you and having to shoot them quickly with the X-Buster, just your typical shots. The tutorial level itself is pretty simple. You're just going to be running right on these bridges the entire time. They don't really throw much at you here because they want you to learn the game. Now, these orbs right here, these are energy pickups. If you have lost any health, they'll restore a bit of health. That's pretty useful. Now, another unique feature from a departure from the older games is that there's mini-bosses. Now, these mini-bosses don't have a health bar like the normal bosses do. So, unless it's one of the mini-bosses that'll give you some visual clues into its health, like someone will start smoking when they're close to dying, you're not going to know until it just dies. Now, here's another feature that they added. If you fell down this pit, you'd think, oh, I have no idea how to get back up. But Mega Man X, you can wall jump. Just jump at the wall, you can slide down, you can jump up the same wall, you can jump across, hitting the opposite arrow key. X is very versatile, very easy to control. One of the many strong features of this game is that X is very easy to control in the air. It's very easy to dodge, very easy to adjust your direction, and with an item we're going to get a bit later, it's even easier. Now, one more thing to note about that bee. When that bee collapses and collapses the bridge, if you get caught under that bee, it's an instant kill. There are actually a couple enemies in the game that are instant kills, and I will get into those when we actually see them. The other ways to die instantly are to fall in a pit and to hit any sort of spikes. You don't want to do that. You're going to lose a life no matter how much energy you have, and that's not good. Now, another difficulty in this game, which can be frustrating at times, is that all enemies, if you're hit by any sort of enemy, any sort of projectile, let me show you, you're stunned and there's a little bit of knockback. Now, if you combine that with pits, you can see that that can cause a problem if you jump into an enemy in midair and you're knocked back and you're stunned. There will be times when you'll fall helplessly into a pit and die, and there's nothing you can do about it. The best way to avoid that is to just be careful when you jump. See right there, I was careless and paid the price. Now these cars, as you can see, if you don't destroy the cars themselves, you can ride on them, which is pretty cool. Unfortunately, this is the only level in the entire game you'll see these cars. So, don't be looking forward to seeing them. Now, this is the end. This is towards the end of the tutorial level. This drop ship is going to drop a couple cars down. Just destroy them. Don't bother trying to ride on them or anything, because you have to destroy them to proceed. And upon destroying 2 or 3 cars, depending on If you destroy the second car before the third car appears, you only have to destroy 2, but it's easy enough, so it really doesn't matter. Now, here's your first cutscene coming up, and this is a recurring boss by the name of Vile. Now, this is frustrating if you don't know what's coming, because you can't beat this boss. This is a scripted, unwinnable boss fight. See, I can shoot him, blah, blah. But he's going to kill me quickly anyway. So, I'm just going to let him kill me to move on with the game. And he's going to trap me in this electrical orb. Now, X is completely helpless. Nothing he can do. And Vile's going to pick him up and talk a little trash here. X is not very powerful when you start the game. As you can see, Vile was able to defeat him in a matter of seconds. But thankfully for you as the player, you hear the charge beam sound there, and X is saved. Now, this man in red, if you don't know, this is Zero. Zero is X's mentor and best friend. Zero is a very powerful robot, as you'll see in this conversation between X and Zero. X is feeling kind of down about himself because he couldn't defeat Vile, but as his mentor and friend, Zero basically tells him to keep his head up, and that while he's not that powerful yet, once he gets all of his capabilities, which you as the player are going to unlock for X throughout the game, he's going to be quite the powerful fighter. And that's the end of the tutorial level. We're going to hop into the map screen after this brief dialogue. And before we go, though, he's going to tell you basically what we're trying to do here. Sigma is the main villain in the game, and he controls all the robots that we will be fighting through the course of the game. They are named Mavericks, and they are the enemy. Now, the whole point of the game is to defeat Sigma, and Zero's going to go ahead, and you're not going to see him till the end of the game, but he is going to help X when he needs it most. Now, this screen right here, if you weren't going to play this game in one sitting, you would write this down, and this would be your password, which would allow you to keep up and resume the game from where you left off. Now we're going to go to the map screen here. Pretty much the same as any other map screen in the Mega Man series. There's a couple new features, though. One thing that's kind of cool, but it's pretty useless, is this shows a little overworld, and the dot shows where you're going, where the boss is actually located. Now, the slightly more useful thing, but not really that useful, is if you hit spec, it'll show you the name of the boss, for example, Storm Eagle, and it'll show you a couple of his attacks. It doesn't show you all of them, but I will tell you about all the attacks, and the bosses will show them as we fight them. And I'll sort of give you tips on how to fight each boss if you're new to the game. So our first stop is going to be Chill Penguin. Now this is the resident ice level, with a name like Chill Penguin. It's not exactly surprising. And you'll see a little screen, and it'll show the boss, and it'll basically be a little introduction to who you'll be fighting. And now, about ice levels, I'm one of those people who really likes ice levels. I know this is the most common thing in the world, because I know a lot of people don't like the slipping and the sliding, but I really like the atmosphere and the music in a lot of them. Like, this game has a great atmosphere. I really like the music. It sets up the stage well. There's a couple other ice levels I can think of that I really like. If you've ever played Metroid Prime, Fendrano Drifts, the music in that stage is just incredibly good. And it just sets the game so well. And I really love the Metroid series. So that's a great addition to that. And another ice level I can think of off the top of my head I really like is from Star Wars The Old Republic is the ice planet of Hoth. It's just, the music it just sets the stage perfectly, sets the atmosphere, and you know what you're going to be getting, and it's just beautiful. So now, to get back to the game at hand here, we're into sort of a little factory scene here. Now the level designs in this game, they're all pretty similar, and yet they all have their distinct charm. They all have a distinct theme. So while they are the same kind of gameplay, you're not going to get bored with the visuals because even though they're not exactly advanced because we're on the Super Nintendo, they do have their charm to them. So here we're climbing these ramps, and it's pretty basic. You're avoiding those wheels. But coming up is going to be, we're going to get my favorite item in the game already, which is why I played this level first, because I love this item. Right here is what's called an upgrade capsule. Now there's 4 of these in the game, and they are going to give you your most important abilities. The ghostly man is Dr. Light. He built you, actually. But unfortunately he's dead, because he actually built you hundreds of years before the game started. However, you were put into a cybernetic sleep until recently before the game started, and you became a maverick hunter, hunting the bad guys and training under Zero. But that's a recent development in terms of how long ago you were built. Now, what Light is basically saying is that he wanted X to be able to have a peaceful life, but unfortunately with the rise of Sigma and his Mavericks, he did not have that choice, and he would have to fight to save the planet. And he basically says that although he's not powerful yet, he basically echoes Zero here and says that X has the potential to be the most powerful robot, even though he's not built that way yet. As you can see, he says beyond anything the world has ever known. Now, as I said earlier, these are the dash boots, which, if you're good, these pretty much break the game, and I'll show you why as we go. But we're going to hop into the capsule here, and our boots will turn white. They'll turn white, blue, and have a little bit of a gold highlight. Now, each armor part you get will turn that corresponding armor part to that sort of shading, showing that you have the upgrade. Now, the reason why this breaks the game is not only can you move faster, you can dash jump. Now, dash jumping gives you, it doesn't give you any more height, but it gives you a ton more distance, and you can control yourself in the air so much better. Like, as you can see here, I can basically stop myself in midair and spin around, and it allows me to perfectly time my strikes onto enemies and stop myself in midair if an enemy comes quickly onto the screen. And it basically makes dodging enemies a breeze. In some of the later levels, it'll still be challenging, but for the first couple levels, it'll be quite easy to dodge anything that comes our way. Now, this is the armored suit that Vile had. This is basically a copy of that. So you get to see what kind of power Vile has in this suit. You can punch these igloos and just obliterate them. Up here would be a first heart container. Heart containers give you 2 points of health for each one you pick up. There's a total of 8, 1 in each level. However, we can't get this heart container yet because we don't have the corresponding weapon that we need to open the igloo it's in. So we're going to be backtracking. However, I'm going to play the game in a slightly different order than may be suggested in FAQs or guides or whatever. That's because I don't like to backtrack. Although I like the game and everything, I love the game. I like to play in an efficient manner, and I like to unlock my most powerful powers earlier, even if it makes me fight a couple bosses without the strength of the super effective weapon. So these snowballs, those can be a real pain actually, because if you get hit by them and you're over a pit, you're gonna die. So you have to be careful about that. But as you can see here, we've reached the boss. The first boss is Chill Penguin. Now, Chill Penguin, he's basically a very slow boss whose attacks are fairly easy to dodge, but if he hits you, it's gonna hurt. Like, that slide attack, that'll take off half your health at this point in the game, because you don't have any heart containers. And his other attacks will take off somewhere between a half and a third of your health. See, like, look at that. I just touched him, and I lost half my remaining health. So you really gotta be careful if you're fighting him early. Now, the Blizzard attack will knock the statues into you. That'll also do close to half your health. Those ice balls will do a little less. And the slide will do... The slide, I think, might actually kill me if I get hit by it once here. So, as you can see, you really got to be careful. But this isn't a hard boss by any means. Definitely the easiest boss in the game. For me, at least. Oh, wow. I got lucky. I thought I was going to die there. As you can see, I'm down to my very last hit. So I'm going to have to play this really carefully. And I'm going to be really patient. Kind of be a little bit sissy here, but I just don't want to die. So I'm going to let him do his slide. And now, I got lucky there. Sorry about that silence, but I need to button mash to get out of this ice trap, because if I didn't do that, I would have died. And now I'm going to finish him off. Now, that's a little bit of a lot of veteran Let's Players talking about the Let's Play curse. I definitely think that's true, even though this is my very first one, because I usually don't take a single hit on Chill Penguin, and as you can see, I'm down to my final 2 health bars, which no matter what attack it hit me, would have been a one-hit kill. So, we beat the boss, we beat the level, and we get our first weapon, which is Shotgun Ice. Now, Shotgun Ice is a pretty basic weapon, and you shoot a small ice shard out, and if it hits a wall, it'll bounce back the other way, and separate into 5 different shards. So, we get another password screen. You get one of these after every level, or if you get a game over. And so now we're back to our map screen, and as you can see, Chill Penguin, his portrait's blacked out. Now, you could go back into his level. As I said, we're going to have to backtrack, but that just means that you've defeated the boss in that stage. So we're getting up on time, so I would just like to say thanks for watching, and I hope you tune in for part 2, which should be up sometime tomorrow, where I'll be taking on Storm Eagle and another boss to be named later. See you guys around.